What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So for our next horror movie trailer review and reaction, we are taking a look at the film Dangerous Animals. Now you see here we have the headline, Dangerous Animals trailer, Jai Courtney feeds humans to sharks in loved ones director's movie. So as you can see, again, I'm trying to, once these things pop up, get a video created, let's do a review reaction and get them out there, just in case any of you happen to not see these articles or these trailers popping up. But this one just dropped this morning as well. So let's take a look. We have our first image from the trailer here. Now, Jai Courtney, I mean, we've seen him in a range of films, but I think this might be one of the first films where we're actually seeing him play a true villain. And just from the headline itself, Jai Courtney feeds humans, right? So we already know this is gonna be on a whole nother level as far as he's a potential serial killer, or he's just out there for whatever reason killing people and then feeding them to sharks. So I'm interested to see what this one's going to be about. Haven't seen a lot of information on this one up until recently, and of course this morning with this article and finally getting a trailer for it. Again, unless this is kind of floating under the radar for me as well, as I just mentioned, I haven't seen too much on this. So we're gonna go through the article real quickly, then we're gonna jump into the trailer. So the ocean and its predators provides the perfect cover for a killer in the upcoming Dangerous Animals from Australian filmmaker Sean Brine. And IFC Films and Shudder have unleashed the film's official teaser trailer this morning. All right, so this is just going to be a teaser. So I'd imagine it's probably only going to be about, what, a minute 20 seconds, give or take. That's usually about what we get for a teaser trailer. So hopefully, as we see here, the next line mentions it's going to be in theaters on June 6th. So that's fast approaching. So I'd imagine we're going to start getting at least an official full trailer, maybe even a second one here in the next few weeks. I mean, if they're going to start ramping up the marketing for this one. In the upcoming shark attack movie, trapped on a killer's boat with hungry sharks circling below, a surfer must outwit a predator more dangerous than the ocean itself. Will she escape or become the next offering to the deep? Sean Brine returns with his third visceral feature. Then we have some additional casting as far as who's in the film, who wrote the screenplay. Then we have a quote here. There have been a lot of shark films over the years, but I promise none like this, where audiences are left to decipher who the deadliest creature really is, man or animal. It's a survival horror experience with teeth that screams to be seen on the big screen. And then we have the trailer, which we're getting ready to watch here in a second. And then we already have our first poster for this film, which I think is pretty dope. I'm liking the contrast between the black background and the red. Again, though, I just wish all this nonsense down here wasn't there, even with the date of June 6th only in theaters. If they would just remove all this here, maybe even this red text, and I think this right here would have looked a little bit better, maybe in red, the dangerous animal, maybe in red text, and then just have the rest of it like this. I think that would have been an absolute killer poster. But nonetheless, I do like the contrast between the red and the black background, mimicking the ocean in the background. And I imagine this is supposed to be like Courtney's hand, and then having all these individuals who are probably his victims he's lowering down into the ocean. So, all right, so let's get back to the top of this article, and then let's jump into this teaser trailer and see what we got.
People don't understand the hierarchy of animals in this world. They don't think with their brains, they think with their guts. And what your guts understand is 300 razor-sharp teeth, tearing flesh from bone. Welcome aboard.
Okay, so that is on a whole other level. I think it's a nice fresh take potentially for serial killer aspect, right? I mean, right from the start of this teaser trailer, you see just the absolute eeriness of what's taking place. I mean, you hear, he's sitting there eating a bowl of cereal while we can hear somebody screaming in the background. Obviously, it's going to be his next victim, and then we see kind of the transition of, we now quickly know this is not a one-time deal. This is something that obviously he has done multiple times, because then we get a quick look over as he's cutting off some hair, putting it in a bag, and then puts it into a shelving unit where we see multiple other collections of different hairs. And then we also see where he's videotaping them, and we obviously have that confirmation from when we see a tape ejecting from a VCR and it says Heather on it. But then we also get that same confirmation at the very end of this trailer when he's videotaping, and then when he takes that step back, I'm not sure if what his expression is supposed to tell us is he's either surprised about something he is seeing happening, or he's just taking in the fact that, yep, this individual is dying, and he's just taking pleasure in that. Because again, the look he has on his face can go a couple of different ways. Again, he almost has that look as if he's not, he's almost shocked at what he is seeing. And we also see a couple aspects where he's, going back to the boatyard. So he's obviously coming and going. So I don't see this entire story potentially taking place on a boat. We might see at the beginning, he makes a couple trips back and forth until he has, maybe the final victim that's going to be used for the film. And then we spend maybe the last half of the film on the boat where someone's trying to escape, because we also see somebody in handcuffs where she's trying to escape. She's trying to break free. That apparently doesn't work. Again, as I just mentioned, I think we're going to see a couple victims, because we also see somebody that's already being lowered into the water. So we might even start off the film where it just jumps right into it. He's killing somebody, or someone's about to be killed. He's kind of going back and forth from the boatyard, and then gets his final victim, and that's maybe where it plays back and forth, where who's going to survive, either him or her. Does she escape? So this one looks pretty eerie. Again, for Jai Courtney, wouldn't have pictured him in like a serial killer type film, but we can, classify this as such, because we see all the videotapes and the collections of hair of all of his victims. So looks pretty interesting. The music was on point as far as the eeriness. Now, the article did mention we've seen a ton of shark films over the last few years, but I don't think we've seen one quite like this. So, of all the ones we've gotten, this is probably the one I'm most interested to see. I'm most intrigued to see how this one's going to play out. Not just because I think Jai Courtney is an underrated actor in many cases, but again, stepping out of that comfort zone, playing a serial killer. And from what we saw, I think he's portraying it very well. I just can't wait to see a more drawn out trailer. Again, 2.5, 3 minute trailer. We get a little bit more dialogue, get a little bit more about the story. And I think this one's going to be on point. So let me go back and check just to confirm if we do in fact have a date for the release on this one. June 6, 2025 in theaters. So again, that's not that far off. No indication in the article, though, whether or not it will be in theaters only, or if it's going to hit theaters and digital on the same day. Sometimes that does happen and does take place. Either way, we'll be checking this one out and coming back with a spoiler review of the film. But until then, we will also make sure to keep an eye out for any full official trailers and review those as well. So drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the upcoming film Dangerous Animals with Jai Courtney in it. Looks like he's going to be playing a serial killer. Again, comes out in June. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we will see you at the next one. Peace.